Thanks for joining us. This one we begin in Edo State, where 6 more people abducted in a train attack have been rescued, and that's according to the state's commissioner for communication. The rescued victims include a 65-year-old man, a nursing mother with her baby, a 6-year-old girl, and 2 siblings aged 2 and 5 years old. And 2 more suspects have been arrested. 31 passengers were kidnapped when alleged terrorists opened fire at the Gwebe train station. A Minister of State for Transport says no one was shot, injured, or killed during the attack. Well, he says the Railway Corporation will immediately begin the process of improving security at all train stations across the country.
5 of them, but as present, 2 of them are home with them, the security operative to the bush to set up the for 3 days and they're not back there. They just came in. So your people are not armed? No, they are not armed.
All right, we have Patrick Obahiagbon. He's a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council and a former member of the House of Representatives. He joins us now in the studio to discuss all of this. Thank you so much for joining us, and a Happy New Year to you. Where do we start from? It would be actually nice to get your thoughts on the unfortunate, yet again, attacks on a train station, this time in your state, Edo State. I would like to get that. And, let's connect it with President Muhammadu Buhari's stomping in Adamawa State. He seems to be a reluctant hero, if one might put it that way. Some are saying he's a reluctant campaigner for Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Talk to us about that.
Well, let me start by saying that I sympathize with those who are recent victims of the Edo train incident, and in doing so, my heart goes to their families. Having said that, I want to say that there is no ratiocination just now to justiciate the malodorous saga that has happened, which is one incident too many. None at all can suffice. As far as I am concerned, any attempt to rationalize what has happened at all is hogwash, farrago of baloney, and is pusillanimous. That is because it doesn't seem that we have learned from the recent history of about 10 months ago. I thought that they said to the whole world that they were opening the Abuja-Kaduna train rail because efficacious processes have been put in place to checkmate this kind of occurrences.
Right. Is that not an indictment on your party? I mean, when you say they will put, security measures, extra security measures in place, and they did not, and efficacious, yeah, that's the word.
It's not about...
Is that not an indictment on your party, the APC?
It's not about indicting my party or not. The situation, let's not reduce it to argumentum ad baculum and argumentum petito principum. It is what it is. It is the responsibility of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ensure that CCTV cameras were put there. It was the responsibility of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ensure that drones were put there. It was the responsibility of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ensure that bushes were cleared. It was the responsibility of the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ensure that the services of local vigilante, was engaged. If this was not done, then it is deprecable. It is what it is. It's not about indicting my political party or not. It is what it is.
Okay, so Buhari in Adamawa State, some say he's a reluctant campaigner for, his own party presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu.
No, I don't think so. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the father of the nation. Don't forget that the only reason, even though some political adversaries have gone to town mistaking that reason, the only reason, for example, why he has said the sitting vice president, for example, should not be part and parcel of the campaign, because the president recognizes that even though this is the season of politics, government and governance must still go on. So as father of the nation, he needed to dot the I's and cross the T's of the governance processes before he starts his campaign. Now, he has started the campaign, and let's see what happens. We are told that he's going to visit about 10 states. So I don't think he's a reluctant campaigner for Bola Ahmed Asiwaju Tinubu. Why? Why will he be a reluctant campaigner? Why? Okay. There's no reason for that.
One, why those 10 states? Are those states that your party's chances are shaky? That's one. On the second hand, the presidential candidate of the major opposition party, Atiku Abubakar, is from Adamawa State. In 2019, Atiku won Adamawa State, flipping it back to the PDP after President Muhammadu Buhari won it in 2015. So Atiku is on the ballot again. What are the chances of a Bola Tinubu, who is a southern candidate this time around, with a Buhari on the ticket against Atiku? Atiku won Adamawa in 2019. What are the chances of a Bola Tinubu in Adamawa?
The chances are quite encouraging, and that is because this government has been able to bring about the dividends of democracy to the people to a large extent, and beyond that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is seen as a pan-Nigerian. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has grassroots structures in the north, you know, and what applies for Adamawa State applies for the entire northern political hemisphere. The single strategy of PDP is to make the mistake, not only for Adamawa, but for the entire political north. The single strategy of PDP is to make the mistake that the people of the north will rally behind one of their own. You know, but that is a very, very, very preposterous mistake, because the political north has risen and has proven their pan-Nigerianness over and above everything from time to time. They did that in the case of Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola late. It was the northern sitting governors in APC that wrote a letter to the party to say this time, for the purposes of unity in the country, a southerner must become president, and that the north should not aspire to it. So the northerners will rise beyond political astigmatism. They will rise beyond ethnocentric chauvinism. They will rise beyond syphilitic parochialism. They will rise beyond gangrenous parapoism and do what is right.
Okay, so why those states? I mean, why is the president opting to go to Adamawa, Yobe, Kwara, Bauchi, Ogun, Sokoto, and Akwa Ibom State, as well as Imo and others? Why? Why those 10 states?
No specific reasons. It's not because the chances of the party are shaky in those states. It is that the president has to show a cornucopious presence by attending majority of the states. Like I said, this is a president who sees himself as the father of the nation, and he cannot afford to visit state. He cannot afford to visit state to state, because he still has a work to do. And you can see that the president is finishing strong. He's finishing strong even at the terminus ad quem of his administration.
Well, that's quite interesting when you say he's finishing strong at the terminus ad quem of his administration. Let's go back to the issue of endorsements, because that seems to be what President Buhari has done, endorsing Bola Tinubu and, of course, Aisha Ahmed Binani, who's, of course, is fondly referred to as Binani, in Adamawa State there. When you had former President Olusegun Obasanjo endorse Peter Obi of the Labour Party, that's the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, you had Chief Clerk, Edwin Clark, endorsing the same gentleman, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. The APC actually just went to town and said, look, these endorsements have no value whatsoever, that if anything, it's totally meaningless. But here you are, having the president endorse Tinubu and Binani.
Let me say straight away,
right,
without any degree of irrelevancy, that the endorsement of former President Matthew Aremu Okikiolaka Obasanjo drips of logoroic megalomania that verges on messianic monomania as characteristic of him. Nobody says that Aremu Okikiolaka Obasanjo does not have a right to his preference, but his preference is not a political Roma locuta et cosa finita et. When Rome has spoken, there's nothing more to be said. He has no moral compass to pontificate on the direction of this country. I dare say that the endorsement of former President Obasanjo is both a political incubus and a political succubus, a cancer for Peter Obi. Why do I say so?
In what way?
Yes, why do I say so? Peter Obi has gone to Martin Olympus to announce to the whole world in Kabudo and in Olus Bolus that his mantra is to retrieve Nigeria from the ancient regime and give it to the new generation. Is former President Aremu Kikiolaka Obasanjo not part of that ancient regime?
But
does it not represent the corruptive processes that has taken place in this country?
The current President Muhammadu Buhari is a contemporary of the same former leader that you referred to. Are you saying that he's totally irrelevant to the future of Nigeria, including this president who is endorsing a presidential candidate who plans or hopes to take over the reins of power going forward?
President Muhammadu Buhari is the party leader of APC. So he has the political locus in quo to engage in any political peregrination in any part of the country, to be able to give voice and vent to his party's candidate. Not so with Aremu Okikolaka Obasanjo, a man who planned a fake coup d'etat against the 1999 Constitution.
It's interesting because your candidate has visited the hilltop residence of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, which is like a political mecca. You know, everybody goes to seek for his wisdom, political wisdom, they say.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, your candidate has visited him in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital. Then was his wisdom worthless?
My candidate equally visited former President Goodluck Jonathan. My candidate equally visited IBB. These are former past presidents of the country. So it only becomes symbolical and disrespectful to say to them, this is my mission. To say to them, this is my agenda. It's not necessarily because Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu needed an endorsement.
Well, let's talk about the agenda of Bola Tinubu. There are about 17 political parties fielding presidential candidates. A lot of analysts have come to say we have 4 major front runners. Why should Nigerians vote a Bola Tinubu over 16 others or the 3 others who are the major contenders?
The reasons are sancta simplicitas, and they are these. The country needs healing.
From?
At this point in time.
The
country needs healing. The country needs healing from the anomie that has characterized the country right from 1960. Right from 1960 till date, the country needs healing from it, and the Jagaban Bogo himself, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has proven the point over time, quod errant demonstrandum and quod errant faciendum, that is a social and political and cultural agglutinant. When he served as governor of Lagos State, the entire Nigerians were there. It was a coruscating emblematization of the entire Nigerians. You have Igbos, you have Hausas, you have Yorubas, you have Arewas, you have everybody from every part of the country serving in that government. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes with experience. Is it not clear to everybody that he set the political, social, and economic chronometer of Lagos State since he became governor of Lagos State on a path of multidimensional and polyvalent developmentalism, which successors after him has ossified?
So are you saying that Bola Tinubu is the man who will fix Nigeria's problem? And as far as you're concerned, those problems have been there since independence in 1960. That's quite a tall
and
order.
You're indirectly saying that the last 8 years they were not fixed.
Too, exactly.
No.
Your government, the APC government, had 8 years to fix those problems.
Government is a continuum.
Right.
Fixing the problems is work in progress. That is not to say that even the APC government just now has not done its best. And I have here, if you have the time, it can take us 30 minutes of the various achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari. I have it here, and so every time I will read them out.
Unfortunately, we do not have 30
unfortunately.
Honorable
Yes.
Patrick Obahiagbon, we have to thank you so much for being on the news, and we do wish your party the best.
Yep.
We look forward to more of these conversations as the election approaches.
The
Thank you so
pleasure is
much for
mine.
your
Thank you
time.
very much.
The pleasure is mine.
He is from the APC Presidential Campaign Council, Honorable Patrick Obahiagbon.